Hi, this is Dan England, Adventure Editor for the Greeley Tribune, and we're going to be heading up Snowdrift Peak in Rocky Mountain National Park. This is our path of the month for August. There's our destination. Snowdrift is the peak far to the left. Okay, so I left my house at 2:45, which is brutal, but you always get to see some really cool sights. I didn't take a very good photo of it, but there's some mist in Moraine Park leading up to the parking lot. And the morning light is just really beautiful. There's Long's Peak, that little hump in the background there. We're at the Dream Lake overlook as we're heading up to Flat Top Mountain, which is the first part of our destination. And there's the morning light again and the sign telling us Emerald Lake. This wasn't Dream Lake, sorry, my bad. Okay, so now we're approaching the summit of Flat Top Mountain, which is a popular mountain in Rocky Mountain National Park. And there's Hallett's to the left. And we're actually going to be taking a different route up Snowdrift. So we're going to cut down to Ptarmigan Lake, which is different from the standard route that I talked about in the Path of the Month article. Instead of taking the trail all the way around and then just cutting down to Big Horn Flats, what we're doing is we're heading down to the lake through a tundra slope, and we have to drop about 1,200 feet to do that. But here's why we did it. Here's our first glance at the lake, and as you can see, it's really beautiful. The sights on this hike were just awesome. There's another really good shot of the snow and ice still on the lake there. And so what we did was we cut around to the left to head to an unnamed lake. And so here we are scrambling down the boulders to get to that unnamed little pond there. And then we're going to start to make our way to Wonderland Lake. And on our way, we saw this really beautiful little waterfall there, and I thought this was kind of another neat little area too, just a little pond, something you might see in a painting. Lisa Foster wrote a guidebook to Rocky Mountain National Park, and that's kind of what we use to develop our own route, and she calls this Wonderland Lake. We are going to climb that slope in the middle with the big snow patch, and we were able to find a grassy shelf that sort of led us to the saddle, so it wasn't as bad as it looked initially. And there we are heading to the saddle, which will put us on the standard route to Snowdrift Peak. As you can see, the standard route really is nothing more than just a bunch of talus and boulder hopping. We had to climb a final little snow pitch. It was a little steep, but about 5 minutes later, we were on the summit. Yay! Summit's always a cool place to be. There's a good view of Long's Peak. And it was a really beautiful day, so we got to linger a little bit, which is kind of a rare treat on the summit. There's a good shot of a butterfly. We had a good time, and it's always fun to take a little break and reflect on what you've done. But of course, it's always time to go home. And so we thought we'd spice that up a little bit by taking advantage of some of the snow at the park and using our ice axes to slide down the slopes, which is really fun. But you can see how we slid down the slope there. We took the standard route back home, and the hike back home is always kind of hard, but there was lots of wildlife along the way and some beautiful flowers to keep us entertained. And I don't know if you can make out that ptarmigan. They camouflage themselves pretty well. Well, there's our last look at Snowdrift Peak before we head down the Flat Top Mountain Trail, back to the car, and the end of a great day.